Good morning to you on this Tuesday. Thanks for waking up with CBS 8. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Nada Iranpour. We're going to get a check of that forecast here to help you start your day. Meteorologist Evan Irani, what's going on with these clouds?
Another mild day out
Yes.
there. Clouds are with us, yes, in the morning stretch.
Yeah.
June gloom, pretty typical for us, but we'll be seeing those clouds break apart pretty quickly, transitioning to sunshine by the time we get to about 9 and 10 a.m. In some cases, closer to the coastline, that could take until closer to noon to see the sun if you're west of the 5. 71 on average this afternoon by the coast, 82 inland. A little bit cooler in some cases than yesterday, but our mountains and deserts are staying quite warm out there. Mid and upper 80s for the mountains, 110 for the deserts. Here's what we have in terms of your temperatures out the door, though, right now. 59 in Fallbrook, 55 in Ramona, and 60 in La Mesa. Coming up, we'll talk more about the cooling trend that we're expected to encounter as we get toward the upcoming weekend. Vanessa Paz is checking in on traffic at 6:01. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're tracking a good amount of slowing coming in from the South Bay. It's actually improved since I showed you this shot about 10-15 minutes ago, but you can see that things are picking up. It is bright and early, and yeah, the freeways are pretty much lit up, so you can see again the speeds that we're going. Steady speeds right now coming in from the Lake Murray area as you're headed westbound. In fact, that's what you're looking at bottom left of your screen. That's that westbound drive as you make your way towards the 15. That's the 15 south, so this is a drive as you leave Escondido headed towards the the Poway neighborhood. Let's go ahead and zoom on into where we're tracking a stalled car. Reportedly, it's stuck on the HOV lane, and this is on the 15 South right at Rancho Bernardo, so look out for that. We're also tracking reports of some sort of crash on the right shoulder in the Mission Valley area on the 8 East right after the 805. Travel time still in pretty good shape, anywhere between about 10 to 15 right now to get you northbound, and that's coming in from the South Bay. Back to you guys.
We begin with an update on a story that we have been following since last month. A murder and kidnapping suspect last seen near the border in San Diego is now in custody.
Investigators say Ruben Fregoso took his daughter, Deleza Fregoso, across the border into Baja California back in May after leaving his car behind in a parking garage near San Ysidro. Los Angeles County prosecutors say Fregoso killed his girlfriend before he took off. United States Marshals Service agents have been working with Mexican authorities and learned that Fregoso was taken into custody in Mexico over the weekend. Deleza was found safely, the young girl was, and is in custody of Mexican officials now. She will be returned to her family in the U.S. in the coming days, and Fregoso will be extradited. Right now, he is facing murder charges in L.A. County. And now this just in, the FBI says it disrupted an alleged attempt to target the UFC event at the White House over the weekend. FBI Director Kash Patel shared on X that multiple individuals are now in custody.
This morning, we're learning 8 people are dead after a B-52 bomber crashed shortly after takeoff at Edwards Air Force Base. This happened yesterday during a routine test mission. And look, you can see the ground was charred where the plane went down in the Mojave Desert just north of Los Angeles. Not much left, just barely any debris there. Military personnel, government civilians, and government contractors were on board.
After reviewing the footage of the crash, it was deemed that this was an unrecoverable crash and unsurvivable. At that point, we went into the notification process.
Boeing confirms 2 of its employees were on board. The Air Force says an investigation into what happened could take months. Well, just hours ago, the California Senate and Assembly voted to pass a 2-party deal for the upcoming fiscal year budget.
Lawmakers had until midnight to pass a balanced budget. Right up to that deadline, News 8's Tori Apodaca live downtown to explain what all this means. Tori, good morning.
Hi, good morning. That vote really was a formality, but it does take us one step closer to a final budget, which will be a 3-party deal between the legislature and Governor Gavin Newsom. So those California lawmakers yesterday passed or adopted a $356 billion state budget, and now comes the time for negotiations. The budget cuts the deficit in half, adding $36.5 billion to state reserves, with no deficit for the next 2 years. Healthcare cuts, funding for schools, homelessness. These are just a few of the main topics lawmakers will be debating on how to fund. Legislators are rejecting Newsom's proposed cuts to in-home supportive services, or IHSS. They're also pushing back on the proposed Medi-Cal asset test, which limits how much a senior or disabled Californian can have in savings to remain qualified for Medi-Cal coverage. Many also are pushing for delays in raising Medi-Cal premiums for undocumented immigrants from $30 to $50. All 19 Republican Assembly members voted no on the bill, showing the very clear divide. Many of them strongly opposed to Newsom's new tax proposals.
Together something really quick and sloppy, knowing that this is not a budget that reflects the best interest of Californians.
We are funding more for vulnerable Californians, and it is true that that includes our immigrant community.
So the Senate will take up the bills on the proposed taxes sometime this week. That could even come as soon as today. And then the governor, Senate, and Assembly have until the end of the month to adopt a final budget. Reporting live from downtown San Diego this morning, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Tori, thank you for the update. And now developing this morning, a fast-moving brush fire has burned nearly 1,000 acres at Camp Pendleton. Let's show you the video now. This is what it looked like yesterday when this first sparked up from UC San Diego's camera up in San Clemente. The fire broke out about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Look at all that smoke. This is time-lapse video. It's burning in the northern part of the base, closer to San Onofre. You see the flames overnight. As of the latest update this morning, it is 5% contained and has now burned 989 acres. Right now, there's no impact to traffic on the 5, so you should be okay there, but you might see that smoke and smell it. And base officials say there are no known threats to life, safety, or infrastructure. It is only the month of June, and these fires, we've covered many of them popping up across California, just like that one at Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, fire officials predicting a prolonged peak season this year. News 8's Chris Grow in studio with us with a warning that CAL FIRE wants out there here, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Of course, again, we're talking about peak fire season because really it's fire season all year round. But earlier in the year, we had all of that rain. Drought maps showed we had no drought to start the year. But of course, that didn't last long because it's a double-edged sword when we're talking about rain. One edge of that is saying, hey, we're going to get some good greenery. The other side is that grass eventually dries up and it turns into ripe fuel for wildfires. We already saw a heat wave in March, and CAL FIRE says that's a big reason why we are ahead of our 5-year average for acres burned in the state already. In the meantime, homeowners can do their part, create defensible space, try not to use heavy machinery to do that work. You don't want the work to prevent a wildfire to start a wildfire. Here's more from CAL FIRE on that as well as peak wildfire season.
What we're seeing right now is, yes, it is going to be drier and hotter. We're looking at all the predictive models out there, and it's saying that it is going to be above average peak fire seasons. It's so important that homeowners do their defensible space, have their go bags ready, and have that emergency plan ready to enact.
Here in San Diego County, that is a welcome sight. CAL FIRE here added to its aerial fleet. This is the newest addition, a Firehawk helicopter. It has the capability of dropping 1,000 gallons of water. That's more than triple the capacity of the other helicopters used for water drops that are stationed at Ramona. This one will be stationed at Ramona. It will also eventually be used for nighttime missions, both water drops and rescues. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks for the update.
Okay, let's see how things are shaping up today. I love this view.
Oh.
So
It's
nice,
so
right?
cool. Like the clouds slithering through the mountains there.
Yeah. So we're looking at Otay Mountain facing south right now, where there's still plenty of clouds. And you might even notice from that south-facing view that the westerly side, the southwesterly side of this view is the one that has a bit more cloud cover. Unsurprising, means that those clouds are out along the coast and inland, and in some cases stretching as far east as the western slopes of the mountains. We have temperatures mostly in the 50s and 60s to start off the morning. 59 in Julian, 55 in Ramona, and 63 in El Cajon, 66 in downtown San Diego. We've been under this ridge of high pressure for the last many days. What this means is that we're watching as air stagnates, as it kind of holds still, as we prevent cloud development into the afternoon stretch. We've generally been under sunny blue skies, and as warmer temperatures prevail, it's kind of pulling up some of that warmer air from the equator. What we're going to be seeing into the next couple days, though, is that this begins to weaken. It moves south and east, and as it does so, it will take that warmth with it, but we'll start to make some room up toward this left-hand side of the screen for some cooler air to move in as well. Doesn't necessarily seem like it's symptomatic of any low pressure system, no rain in the forecast, no significant cloud cover, just that general broad cooling trend that takes us back to a more normal range. Here's satellite radar imagery. Cloud cover is pretty dense out there from our international border up through about Solana Beach. From Solana Beach up to the border with Orange County, we've got some clouds out there. They're just not quite as dense. Beach hazard statement stays in effect out by the coast with 3 to 6 foot waves, sets of 7-footers possible. Vanessa Paz checking in on traffic at 6:10. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and show you a little glimpse outside in case you're stuck inside like us. This is the 805 in both directions. So this is what you can look forward to if you're headed in from the South Bay northbound. That's the right side of your screen as folks pass Home Avenue, hopping onto the freeway. This is another drive in both directions right at the college area, towards the college area, coming in from Lake Murray. And then this is the 15 South, just north of Felicita. We are still tracking a crash, reports of a crash on the right shoulder in the Mission Valley area, and that's on the 8 East, right after you get onto the 805 freeway. It looks like it's not causing any congestion, though. In fact, we're at steady speeds for the most part. And then here's what we're tracking coming in from Rancho Bernardo as you make your way towards Ted Williams, also known as the 56. It looks like we have a stalled motorcycle, and the motorcyclist is reportedly off of his bike and just kind of hanging on the shoulder in between the fast lane and the HOV lane, so look out for that. If you're wondering what all of this yellow is, that's where we're tracking some fog. So right along Scripps Poway Parkway in between Poway and Ramona is where we're seeing the most dense fog right now. So visibility reduced through that pocket. Look out for that. About 10 to 15 minutes right now on the 5 and the 805. This is coming in from National City as well as Chula Vista. And then here are those drives coming in from the East County headed west, 3 to 7 minutes. Still steady speeds right now across the board. Same deal coming in from the North County as you make your way southbound this morning. All right, 6:11 is the time. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times for you. We're tracking close to 2 hours coming across from San Ysidro's port of entry, and then about an hour and a half or so inbound from Otay Mesa. So a bit of a wait for both ends.